Well, hello then. I do hope you're all well. Now, this is I found really nice actually. It was some fitting tributes to the late great Baroness Betty Boothroyd, former Speaker of the House, where they decided they were going to have. I think it was just 5 minute bits where people pay their tributes, and I thought this was a nice little fitting tribute. We all have us gripes with Lindsay Hurl, but I just thought this was quite nice and. Just enjoy this rather humorous and enjoyable little tribute.
When Baroness Boothroyd announced she was to retire as Speaker of the House of Commons in 2000, there was an audible groan among members. "Be happy for me," she appealed, with a twinkle in her eye. But it was not a happy occasion for many of us who'd held her in such deep affection. So yesterday, when her passing was announced formally, there was shock and sadness all around. Because Betty was one of a kind. Not only was she the first woman speaker, she was a force to be reckoned with. The only child of two textiles workers, she was born in Dewsbury, Yorkshire. Betty was first a dancer in the popular Tiller Girls troupe before turning attention to politics. Thank goodness she did. Having worked to an assistant to Labour MPs, including Barbara Castle, and spending time in the US observing the Kennedy campaign. She contested 4 seats unsuccessfully before she was finally elected in West Bromwich in 1973, a seat she held for 27 years. As well as being an effective and active constituency MP, Betty served as an assistant government whip, as a member of the European Parliament at the same time as being an MP, as well as being a member of Labour's National Executive Committee, where she met my father, Doug Hoyle, who was on the opposite side of the NEC in those days, and of course, Deputy Speaker Jacques Wellrow. But that all changed in 1992, when Betty was elected to the role she was made for, and the role that we all remember her for, that of Speaker, a role she held for 8 years. She was there when I was elected as member of Paunceford Chorley in 1997. She was there again in the House of Commons, supporting me when I was elected Speaker in 2019. She was forthright, fair, strong, and certainly no pushover. And when someone who commanded respect across the House, you knew you had that, and give that respect. She was an expert in keeping us all in check, 1 minute, yet offering help to a newcomer the next, be it an MP, a staff member, or indeed a fellow speaker the next. As I'm proud Lancastrian, and her a proud Yorkshire woman, there was always friendly rivalry between the Red Rose and the White Rose. But we were always united when it came to the South. When I became Speaker, she quite rightly regularly offered me advice, whether I wanted it or not, but it was always well-meaning. Well, I hoped it was anyway. She used to say, "Lovey, you're doing very well, but..." She would tell me during our many calls and meetings. She was quite interesting when she'd phone up. She'd ring and she'd say, "Is that you, Helen?" "No, it's Joe on the phone." "Well, I don't want you, I want Helen." "You better get her. Just tell him I want dinner tonight, have some advice for him." That was Betty, that's why we loved her. Like me, she believed in the formality of the role of Speaker and the attire that goes with it, apart from the wig, which she refused to wear, a tradition I've gladly continued. So let us begin to think back. She was known for travel, both professionally and personally. Cyprus was her favourite holiday destination, a place where she famously took up paragliding in her 60s. But she was also the perfect host in Westminster, be it a sing-along, around the piano in Speaker's House with parliamentary colleagues. Speaker's House was well known for its receptions, or welcoming international guests. Who can forget Madam Speaker walking down the steps of Westminster Hall in 1996, holding the hands of Nelson Mandela? the South African president. She was there to make sure the House was truly represented. That sense of humanity is what endears us all to Betty. One of Betty's trademarked appeals to members who took too long to get their words out during Prime Minister's questions was, "Time's up!" Well, Madam Speaker, we are devastated that your time is up, but on behalf of us all, you will never be forgotten. You made history, so please, rest in peace.
Nice, wasn't it? You know, rest in peace, Betty Boothroyd, and